Mike Rowe just got me stuff, but I'm not sure this way for the street. Yeah, follow. I mean, that's usually what you see on the highway, though, certainly you get, like, you're not really, you can ask it. So it's like 4 times a year for, you know, I don't know, it's like, how expensive it is. 400 a piece, 4,000.
Alright, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Please join me for the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks everybody for coming. Today is the regular council meeting. It's December 9th, 2019 at 6:30. Roll call. Casey, go ahead, please.
Councilmember Hutchison,
Here.
Councilmember O'Regan,
Here.
Councilmember Carlson,
Here.
Mayor Yoder,
Here.
and Councilmember Johnson is absent.
Alright, thank you. Okay, any additions or deletions to the agenda? I do have addition to make. I'm gonna put the claim numbers down on claim A. So it should be spots. So the first check is 31644 -1674. The next is EFT, would be number 30326 -30333. Then we have the payroll, which is check number 1000526 through 1000542. And then we have, am I going too fast? Okay, then we have fire department payroll check, which is 014976 through 014961. Anybody have anything else to add?
It's not really addition or deletion, but I got a change underneath the fire department business.
Okay.
B and C are mixed up. The first assistant chief should be Brian Stevens,
Okay.
and the second assistant chief should be Jace Carlson.
Okay. Anybody have anything else? If not,
I
Yeah.
have one thing to add.
go ahead.
We'll just put it down as the roster cleanup for now. number 6, number 5.
Go ahead.
Can I steal about 5 minutes of your time, whenever it fits in?
Yep,
Okay.
yep, you wanna do it on a public hearing? It's typically what we do, and that we ain't too far from it, it should go pretty fast.
Whatever fits for your schedule.
Perfect, thank you. Anybody have anything else? If not, I'm looking at a motion to approve those changes.
I will make a motion to approve the changes.
Motion made by Carlson, looking for a second.
Second.
Second by O'Regan. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, I'm looking to approve the consent agenda from A to G.
I will make that motion.
Motion made by Carlson,
And I would second that.
second by Hutchinson. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, 6 is the summary of the November 12th, 2019 closed meeting. It was a summary of the closed meeting held on November 12th. The closed session was an annual performance evaluation by the clerk treasurer Lacey Schmea. Performance was determined to be meet expectations, receiving 39.25 out of 56 points. All right, agenda request presentation, who's that?
That's just an item.
Oh,
If
okay.
anybody was here, there's none.
Okay, perfect. Okay, department reports, planning and zoning. Pat?
Don't have anything from P and Z this month.
Okay, it's my understanding there is not a meeting this month either, right?
Right, there's no meeting in December.
Okay,
We didn't have one in November because we didn't have a quorum.
okay. Building department, next step to hire an inspector or repeal the ordinance. This is obviously a discussion we need to have, nobody wants to. But we need to do this and so we can move forward. We have to do it this meeting, we don't have a lot of time.
So as a city, do we have to have building inspector?
If you have the ordinances, you do.
Which we currently do, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
The only other way, my understanding, Lacey, correct me if I'm wrong, the only other way to do that would be to repeal the ordinance,
Correct.
and then we don't have to have one.
Correct, and you have to post notice 10 days in advance of passing the ordinance or repealing the ordinance. So 10 days before the next council meeting, unless you were gonna schedule a special meeting, you would have to post that notice so the public was aware that you were going to be taking that vote.
But tonight, we can vote on the direction we wanna go,
Yes, I would say you should either, yes.
one way or the other.
Correct.
I guess it's not, I'll start out, it's tough because everybody has different opinions on this, but I'm still leaning to, I think we should repeal it, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, after reading into it a little bit, I mean, they still have to follow the codes, it's just, we don't have somebody
Making them do it correctly. Yeah.
So I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to repealing them.
My question would be, if we repeal it, we don't have a building inspector, what's there for people who feel they need somebody to come in and look at their work to see if it's being done according to code?
I wonder.
I mean, I know they're supposed to follow code.
Right. Yeah.
But if a person's got, building a house, and we don't have an inspector, and people building the house want somebody to come in and make sure it's being done to code,
I suppose they could call,
can they work,
call a
what's
state
available to them?
inspector maybe. Come over, I mean, because Cass don't have it, Morrison don't have it, Todd don't have it,
I know the counties
you
don't
know,
have it,
and I guess, I haven't heard of any problems.
but I know Pillager has it, Staples has it. Is there some way of saying that there's something available for people who would want somebody to come in and do an inspection
Right.
without them having to go searching through St. Paul to find somebody?
Right.
And I know there's a lot of private people who do home inspections on like new property and, places they purchase, but I guess if they wanted to pay for new construction, when they could. But on the same hand, if there's things that are not built to standard and maybe the contractor's told of them, I mean, there's no consequences for doing a poor job. That's kind of my concern. I want us to, as a town, to grow and to have more housing, but I'm concerned about the quality of the housing if we repeal this.
That's one of my concerns.
I guess, thinking of residents that have been built around the city of Montlake, I mean, I've not heard or seen buildings fall down. And they have to, you know what I mean? They have to follow the same thing as here.
And being in the industry I'm in, we hear quite a bit from contractors as well. It doesn't matter, it's not being inspected. Yes, that's very true, but it doesn't mean they should skim on the
Right.
quality, and I really feel strongly that there is some that do. Yeah, it's a tough call. It really is.
It's always the most vulnerable in the community that are gonna suffer the most.
Do we have names of the other inspectors around the area? Like, Baxter used to use Tim Cahy, I think he's retired or moved on possibly. I don't know who Staples is currently using,
The one that we had,
is it Scott?
Village has a different one.
I'm just wondering if it was maybe just not the right fit for us.
I can't imagine it's, even if we did get rid of it, I mean, how hard is it to come back 4 months down the road, or a year from now, re-adopt the building code if it's not working out, or if we are having issues. Is it a huge deal?
Procedurally,
Yeah.
you would have to, first you would repeal the ordinance, which requires posting and then taking a vote at the next meeting, and then you have to pay to publish it. You would have to follow the same procedure to enact the
Yeah.
building code as well. I would just caution you to think about the people who built in that interim period
Right.
and the people who have just built and paid for permits and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
just want to make sure that that's on your guys' mind. But
And are you thinking if it's repealed, we then would not require anybody to get a building permit?
Oh, no, they still have to do a building permit. They just don't, we just don't have to enforce the building code. It doesn't mean that we don't require it. In fact, some of the cities that I talked to, they put right on it when we give them the permit. That you get, you must build within the building code.
Are you, just to clarify, they're doing that under the zoning, so it's more like a land use permit, and then they're adding that on?
Right.
So it's one permit, so they would
Right.
just get a land use permit, like have the zoning administrator review,
Right.
and then, okay.
So question to you.
Yes.
Do you see, you kinda heard what we're in there, do you see, not that we're looking for your recommendation, do you see a problem with us? going
Well, if
with
you
the other?
go with the land use permit and still require the code, but don't give them a building permit, so they don't think that they're getting inspection, that's one thing. I see, I know down in, I think Royalton, I think we use Allspec, it's a contract building inspection service. And I can't remember what her fees are, I mean, but it's probably similar to what you're paying for building permits. I'm kind of a fan of the building inspection, just so people who, like you're saying, who don't know any better, don't have an issue with, well, those trusses will only, won't hold a snow load or something like that. But, yeah, I would limit it to it, you would grant only a land use permit if you're gonna not enforce or inspect the building code.
You obviously work with cities that don't have it, right? I don't think.
Yeah, but usually they're population 100 or under. Like Bolus might not have building permits,
Randall don't have it.
Randall probably not.
I don't think Upsala does.
And I don't know how big, is Randall like 200-300? Upsala's like 400, I think.
It has to be, for statute, I think it's under 1,000 in it.
Yeah.
I think it's under 1,000 for statute, isn't it?
2,500.
Or 2,500.
You don't have
And
to
I
have
know, right.
I've seen some projects where, and I'm thinking of one in Royalton where they put the wrong trusses in and the building inspector had to stop them and nobody else was paying attention. So I mean, in that case, it was very good. And that was a contractor, that was one that you would rather not hire, you know, but I think, you know, I'm trying to think of our farm out by Mille Lacs, I don't think there's building, we might have Barsodi out there in Mille Lacs County. But not a lot of that rural area gets inspected.
Right.
So no, they still get the electrical inspection and all that, right?
That's required, yes,
Okay.
by a separate, a couple cities have their own electrical inspectors, like maybe Maple Grove and St. Cloud, but
Some
really
bigger
big
ones.
cities, most of that's a state inspection.
Okay.
And then I don't know how commercial would be handled, like if you added on to the Dairy Queen, a lot of that's through the health department, you have to do permits. And typically, they may come out and do some of the inspection on that, on the food service.
You know, I gotta be really honest, I'm kinda like Jason, I kinda agree with him, it's like, you know, if we see that this is gonna be a problem, we can always go back and implement it again if we need to. I just don't think we're gonna get there. The fact that we haven't had hardly any building, the way it is, although we do have an addition going on, commercial building. It would be nice if there was a way where the commercial buildings could be inspected by the state. Be required, and then, of course, obviously residential would be, but such a big deal, somebody builds a garage.
Right, could you require in your ordinance that any commercial additions will have special inspections by a state certified building inspector?
I don't
Will you
know,
change your ordinance? Well, you might want to run that by your attorney.
right.
Or commercial is a different deal than residential. I think you could do something like that. Well, what do you consider structural?
Framing, roofing.
Well, I mean, framing, I mean, any house you build, you're gonna frame. So I think if you required, you still require the building code.
Right.
But now we're required to replace shingles, to replace windows.
Well, that's all the building inspectors all work.
But you have
No, on a house, you don't, normal house, you don't have to have any of that inspected if you don't want to. The way I understand that. See, I guess I don't get into the residential that much. If we're doing a water treatment or a wastewater plant, we end up inspecting it anyway. You know, separate from the building inspector. It's
Well-
a tough one.
I mean, if you replace your wire, you're supposed to have people official out there right now.
Well, yeah, well, of course, I replace my own and don't tell anybody, so, to be honest with you.
But that's where we're gonna just stick with it.
Right.
Or we won't need that.
So, well, and did your other building inspector not work out, or fees too high, or,
I think a little bit of both.
and are they charging, or were they charging kind of according to the state schedule, or?
I'm guessing so, I think we adopted this, whatever
I
they,
think that was our fee
was-
schedule, like what was in here.
he was compliant with this, with what they had to, right?
It's based on one of the states.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Or maybe that's something, when you call the public hearing, some of the public will say, well, we like certain things inspected, or feel that should be kind of a tough, you know. And a lot of it is, maybe the contractor has to have a registration with the city, or the contractor has to be licensed in the state. Because I want to say, the licensing of building contractors, I think they put into a escrow account or a bond fund, that if they screw up, there's money in that account for it. Not necessarily theirs, but through the state. I don't know what your, if you talked to your attorney about that at all, or not really? What their thoughts are.
No, the thing that we got was that if you wanted to repeal it, you can,
The inspection process, or the requirement of the building code?
requirement of the building code to have an inspector, you have to repeal it. We were just talking about,
Okay,
because we file under the 2,500. And if you don't repeal it, then you need to have one, by law.
gotcha. Have you looked at, or queried the League of Minnesota Cities on that?
That's actually who gave us that information.
Oh, okay. How many cities don't, well, you have a fair amount that don't have it,
Yeah.
and they haven't had any huge problems. So,
Well, at one point or one way or the other, even if I don't get my way, we need to figure out what we're gonna do, so. um, If we don't repeal it, then we have to search for a building inspector.
I don't know, I would like to keep it easy, but my gut's telling me it's not a good move. I mean, we could always throw it up for a vote and see how it goes.
Well, it's gonna be the same as it was another time, 2 and 2.
Yeah, I guess I don't know how Pat's leaning, but
No, but I think that wants it.
Yeah, I wanna keep it, I mean, unless we can find something, some other way of protecting the people who need, you know, need some help, seeing that the job's done right. But to just repeal it and have nothing in place, I don't know, I have a problem with it, because I was here back before we adopted the code, state code, and I know there were problems. And you don't always hear about the problems, unless you're involved in that situation, or you're involved somehow, but they were there. That's why it got adopted in the first place.
And I think my thing wouldn't be bad if it was just for buildings, but if there's so much other little things that they throw a wrench in, it's like, okay, it makes no sense. You know what I mean? Even though it's the code.
yeah, and I don't disagree with you
And
there.
so it's one of the things, it's like, that's why I have a hard time with this, it's like, if it was just, you know, reviewing a plan, if we could do part and part not, I would be totally okay with that, but whatever, we need to move on, so,
The state gives us all or nothing, right?
yeah, it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
Do you know how much time we have to get a new inspector?
I believe
understand that.
January 23rd.
Is when we have to have a new one in
I think
place,
that's the
or
right date. I might be
It's
off in
some-
a few days.
it's close to the end of January, okay.
That's when, Scott's contract is
Well,
up, other than the ones he already has open. And the state already contacted me as soon as I sent that in and said, okay, what do you guys do? Okay,
Right.
hold on, I don't know. So,
Well, I guess I'll make a motion to maybe start looking for another inspector then.
Okay, motion made by Carlson. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Reagan. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Hi.
Those opposed? Aye. Motion carries 3-1 vote. So it looks like somebody volunteered to find a state inspector. The yeas. I don't know how you go about to do that. Maybe just let the state know, is that what, probably let them know that we'd be interested in an inspector, how would, if we're gonna move forward with an inspector? How do you find an inspector?
Google it.
Look up, find other cities that have an inspector by us
See
and
if-
call them,
Okay.
I think.
You said Brandon does not have one.
No.
No, Royalton has Allspec, I think. Nancy Scott is their building inspector there.
Mhm.
She's been there for probably 20 years or,
I actually talked to her on the phone, she seemed like a pretty decent gal. I kinda liked her when I talked to her.
yeah, and then I think she's in Rice, Gilman. This may be a little out of her
Right.
range, but she's had very good retention.
Yeah,
of
Villager
cities.
has one too. I
Mhm.
don't know who they have, but they've got
Oh,
one.
and I can reach out to Pillager. I deal with her quite a bit, so, Jan.
Piers, do we know who Piers has?
Do you go over to Piers?
I don't know.
I'll talk to Bob at Loyal and see who they use.
Okay. So I guess if we kind of divvy it up like that, maybe
Yeah.
it's easier.
Yeah. Come up with some names and ask them if they'd be willing to be your inspector. All right. We can move on from that.
One question,
Okay.
is that something the league might be able to help us with? Lacey, what do you think?
Finding a building inspector. They might have on file
A
who
list.
other
Who other
communities
communities
use,
have?
possibly.
It might even be in the city book, because I want to say in the, I don't have one with me, but a lot of time it'll tell you who the building inspector is.
Yeah, they asked that, I didn't order a copy.
But I think before we just say, okay, we're gonna hire this guy, we need to somewhat talk to the city and say, hey, are you having issues, and, you know, has it been going good, and blah, blah, blah. And I think builders they're probably one of the ones that can tell you whether or not they're
Yeah,
having
Bob,
an issue or not, you know.
Bob at Loyal knows.
It'd be good just to kinda feel it out a little bit.
Sure.
Yep.
All right,
And if anybody out there travels around to different cities, happens to encounter anybody,
I can update you with what I know, but we're happy with it.
all right, fire department, Brad.
November calls, we had 8 medicals, 2 motor vehicle accidents, and 3 fires, for a total of 13. Last week, we held our annual elections, all the officers stayed the same. And we had some discussion, it's that time of year again where our calendars are out, and we're gonna be getting in some donation checks. And in the past couple of years, we've had some issues with fire department versus relief association. And so we just wanted to talk about that and have a plan and ready to go when they start coming in. Lacey and I talked about it today, and I think the simplest thing to do is just anything that comes to the fire department, put it in the truck fund and be done with it.
So that if it comes to the Relief Association, then you guys take it on that side?
Yeah.
Okay.
there is some, the auditor has told her that we can't donate the checks to you and have you write us a check back for it. So I don't see any other options really.
Okay,
This way I'll make sure that the money goes to the fire department, so every time we get, like if we get a batch of checks, you guys will have a resolution to accept donations with all those checks, and then it'll be allocated and put right in the truck fund for, so make sure the fire department gets the money.
do we need to do a motion on that? That's what we're planning on doing, or,
No.
okay,
Yes, Steve was at our meeting and he just thought that we should talk about it here, so
Right.
that's what it's on here. Next item is, the fire department would like to know your intentions for the house next door.
Can I cut in with an update? It's later in the meeting. We purchased the house next door, so there you go.
so, first of all, let's just back, I think we need to approve the officers though, I need a motion to approve that, so let's back up and do that. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the officers as as we have them listed here. The second assistant, Jace Carlson, the first one is Brian Stevens, and the chief, Brad Olson, and the medical officer, Nate Dilly.
So move.
Motion made by
Oh,
O'Regan.
Wait,
Did you just
we have
say?
to switch 'em.
He did say it correctly.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
say
Oh,
that.
did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry, I
thought you said it
was
backwards.
listening at first, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for watching, I think.
Alright.
So Don, did you get that?
I was watching.
Yeah, flopped,
Switched
okay,
them. Yep,
yep.
thank you.
And then I would second that.
Okay, first motion made by O'Regan, second by Hutchinson. Any more discussion?
Do I need, I think also abstain from
Yep.
making the
Okay,
voting.
so Jace abstains from the vote. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, so now we can go to the 364 Highway 10 South, and what was your question on that?
What are your intentions for that building?
Well, I think we had talked about getting it burnt for letting you guys use it for practice.
Okay. Well, there's some inspections involved with that that's gonna take some time, and also I'd like to wait and do that about April, possibly May, just because we're gonna use a lot of water there and it's gonna ice up that highway, so.
Good idea. No, I don't think, I mean, I am not opposed to waiting.
No, it's no rush, I don't think.
Okay.
No, the garage, we haven't discussed that, maybe we should go look at that. Does the garage look in pretty good shape? Is that something you guys can use for storage?
I haven't seen it.
Alright. Okay, so that's something we should look at some point, because maybe we can get rid of that storage container you have back there, and then we could use that if it looks feasible, I don't know. Or maybe Bruce can use it too, storage. Alright,